AEW's Double or Nothing is this Saturday, and a lot is going on in the past few days. And in 2 days, it's going to be a great card. Uh, First off, let's go through the I guess we're going to call it the buy-in match now. I was going to say pre-show, but they usually call it as the buy-in, so let's just go with the buy-in match right now. As Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn face the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent, determine the number one contender for the AEW World Tag Championships, and we're assuming that might be on a future episode of Dynamite. Not sure, but we can only assume that the title match would happen at that point. And of course, titles on the line that night because of a match later on, and we'll get to that later on. Out of these teams, I really don't know, because these are two great teams. They have done a lot over the past few weeks, and they've really we haven't seen Private Party a lot, but the Best Friends have benefited a lot with these uncertain times, just being there almost every week during these empty arena shows, and even now when we have fans in the crowd. Not as much as usual, but still have some fans in the crowd. They've been there almost every week. Good for them. And I feel like they could be rewarded for that. Private Party just being in this match for the hell of it, I don't know. We haven't seen them in months. So I'm going to go with the Best Friends here. They're on a roll, and it makes sense. Next up, Dustin Rhodes for Shawn Spears. We had the debut edition of the Shawn Spears News, or I guess Shawn Spears Network, or whatever the hell it was. It was very entertaining, whatever you want to call it. Setting up this match with Dustin Rhodes, basically calling him out, saying he was retired, and then booking the match randomly after saying he was retired. But it is what it is. You gotta make your moment somehow, and that's what happened here. As far as this match goes, I will pick Spears just because Dustin does look like he's on the way out. I mean, having that match with Lance Archer a few weeks ago, I don't know how many more matches like that he could have. But it is what it is, and I'll say Spears wins it. Next up, the first ever Stadium Stampede match, as Matt Hardy and the elite members, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks will face the Inner Circles, Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. From what we've seen with this match, I'm assuming this is the replacement for the match beyond, the War Games, whatever you want to call it, thing that was going to happen, Blood and Guts or whatever it was called. I'm guessing this is the replacement of that. Obviously, the same rules apply almost, except there's no rules, there's no qualifications, no countouts. Only way the wins, pinfall, submission. And I really don't know, because we haven't seen the Young Bucks in a while, and we haven't seen Adam Page in a while. It'll be interesting to see how they gel together with Matt Hardy compared to how Kenny Omega has worked with Matt Hardy extensively over the past few weeks. Well, the others haven't as much as Omega has. But, in these uncertain times, one of these matches will probably have the happy ending, that sends the fans home happy, even though there's probably not going to be a lot of fans in the arena anyway. So I'm going to pick the Elite and Matt Hardy to win that just based off of that. But I would not be surprised at all if the Inner Circle won this match. And we just have a lot of single matches after that. But first off, Dr. Baker, DMD, against Chris Statlander. These two have been going off and on for a while. And obviously with Sheeta being a number one contender, and I think Baker and Statlander should be the number 2 and number 3 contenders. If not, it might have changed recently, and they may have flopped, or they may want to be maybe lower than the other. I don't remember exactly, but nonetheless, this is a great match. I can see this being a great match. It's a different type of match with the size advantage of Statlander. But we've seen a different side of the Doctor recently. We've seen a side where she doesn't care. And when I say doesn't care is we saw her like a week or two ago apply the lockjaw on her outside the ring with a not a plastic glove, but those little doctor's gloves that people have been using the past few weeks or with these uncertain times. And with that kind of move, you probably need to do that more often. It's a fucking mandible claw. You can't just put your fingers in people's mouths anymore, I guess. There's a lot of things you can't do nowadays. Now, one of those is probably just putting people's fingers in your mouth. However you want to put that. But with it being a mandible claw type of maneuver, you have to do it, but you have to be safe. So it makes sense. Nonetheless, we've seen this go on the past few weeks, and I really don't know. Because on one hand, this could be used to build the momentum of Britt Baker, to keep her going, to be this role model, and we can probably see the continuation of her and Rebel. I guess we saw Rebel that one week, and we haven't seen her since. But, we could have that be a thing, and have her introduce Rebel into AEW. Who knows? Or they might use Rebel to help her win the match. I don't know. But nonetheless, with this match, I wouldn't be surprised if Statlander won, but I'm going to go with Britt Baker. Next up, a match that is no disqualifications and no countouts for the AEW Women's World Championship as Nyla Rose defends against Hikaru Shida. Much like some of the other people on this card, we haven't seen Nyla Rose in a while, and we've seen her recently over the past few weeks. But over this whole kind of uncertain time, this pandemic, whatever you want to call it, we haven't seen Nyla Rose in months, and people could assume that yes, since she is transgender, she could have a weaker immune system. That is a possibility. We don't know for sure, but people have speculated that is the reason we haven't seen her in the past few months, and we've only seen her maybe in the past few weeks, or they might have had nothing for her. Who knows? I don't really know, but that's what people have been throwing around the past few weeks. So I have to go with that because that's the only thing we know. But she has been going after Shida over the past few weeks, taking her kendo stick, using it against her, putting her through a table last night. I really don't know what they're going to do here. Because, again, this could be another match where you send the fans so happy and you have Shida win the match. Or you continue the kind of, I wouldn't want to say, or unorthodox, I wouldn't want to say unique. I don't really know what to call Nyla Rose, quite frankly. And that may offend people, that may not. I don't know. I don't care. But, with her saying she was a one-time champion, some people really hope that she would be a one-time champion due to that kind of confusion over what she actually is. But nonetheless, I would not be surprised at all if Nyla Rose retained the title. I mean, it makes no sense having her off for a while and then having her lose the title out of nowhere. This isn't a Sami Zayn thing. This is just a health issue that we had to take care of. Is what we have to go with because there's no other thing saying why she's been gone for months. But I would love Shida to win this. Shida deserves it. Shida's been like number one contender for like the past 11 or 12 or however many weeks it's been. And honestly, if you're going to push her to the moon, give her the belt. But if not, I wouldn't be surprised if Nyla wouldn't win because this is kind of Nyla's element. Have no rules. Have her be the beast that she is. Have her do what she needs to do. But I'm going to pick Shida. Next up, the Casino Ladder match for a future AEW World Title match. Basically, there will be a giant casino chip hanging above. There will be 10 different men. One of them we don't know about, but the other ones that we do know about are Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Rey Fenix, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frank Kazarian, and the Luchasaurus. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's 8. I thought there was 9 people in here. I guess not. Maybe there's going to be 10. Maybe there's going to be 9. I thought there was one more. Yeah, there's just only 8. I do apologize. I thought there was more than one, but like we said, there's going to be 8 or so or 9 or so, however people are going to be in this match. And, whoever retrieves this casino chip will get a future title match. We don't know when that match will be. Probably the next pay-per-view, and they can build it towards there. But out of all of the people on here, and again, people have speculated maybe Pac will be in here, maybe other people will be on here. But again, with these uncertain times, and with Pac still being in London, I doubt that. And especially since some countries do have a lot of travel ban, not really travel bans necessarily, but just not allowing people to travel to certain countries just because, it just doesn't make sense at this time to do that. It's a miracle that people have been flying around in planes, and I'm surprised that the airline industry in general has even been still flying with all this. But, depending where you are in the world, you can't just drive 15, 20, 24, 48 hours. So, you have to have some kind of air transportation at that point. But still, with all the people that are out on the roster, and a lot of people that, that are aligned with the OWE promotion in China, that have been in AEW in the past, and many other people, you just can't risk it. So, out of this field of people, I could say maybe Darby Allin, because he obviously deserves it. I mean, if you're going to push someone to the moon in this match, it would be Darby for sure. Maybe Orange Cassidy. Maybe Kip Sabian, Luchasaurus, just to have a big guy and just do something with him. Or the Mystery Man, whoever that will be, or Mystery People. There may be more than one. But this will be a great match nonetheless. Next up, the AEW World Championship is Jon Moxley defends against Mr. Brody Lee, the Exalted One. Over the past few weeks, we have seen the debut of the Exalted One being Mr. Brody Lee, formerly known as Luke Harper. But I remember him as Brody Lee even a long time ago, even before he was Luke Harper, all the way in several promotions like Ring of Honor and many others, and just around the indie scene. The guy was literally, some people saw him as the second coming of Bruiser Brody. And people might not agree with that, but that at the time, that was the outlook on what he could be, for better or for worse. But now, with him having this kind of leadership role in the Dark Order, with him having this kind of, I don't want to say a Vince McMahon-esque character, but that's what they were doing the past few weeks with the fucking steak and the fucking sneezing and coughing and whatever. So, make it work. And they have made it work with him stealing the title. Some people will say stealing, some people will say, possession's 9/10 of the law, which it clearly is. Have him having just possession of it. But it doesn't make you the champion until you actually win the match. Nonetheless, with this match, I don't see Mox losing the title this early. He just won it at the last pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. But if you're going to push the Dark Order, if you're going to make them this, I don't want to say cult-like group, but if you want to make them this kind of better, kind of alternative lifestyle, kind of alternative way of thinking, kind of banding together, having all these numbered people doing what you need to do, and maybe it's a cult, who knows? But, just having this different outlook and having it as a group, if the Exalted One doesn't win, what was the point of bringing the Exalted One in the first place? That's what some people would think, and that's what I would think. But Mr. Brody Lee has a lot of potential, and has a lot of potential in the future. So he doesn't necessarily have to win this match. I could see Dark Order people going in and getting the match thrown out, and just having this go on to the next pay-per-view, and just keep going on and on. I wouldn't mind that. But if someone were to win, I would pick Mox, because it just doesn't make sense for him to lose a title this early. Next up, MJF with Wardlow faces Jungle Boy. MJF has had a multitude of several injuries. He is a walking miracle, going in every day and just doing the best that he can and proving that he is, In some people's case, better than us. And better than you, quite frankly. But, Jungle Boy has a lot of potential. Jungle Boy has had a lot of potentials for months. And I don't know what they would do, to give him more and give him something else. But MJF coming back, you have to keep him going. He was one of the biggest names in AEW over the past few months. You have to give him something, and unfortunately, that's what's going to happen here. And finally, a match we talked about, I think, the first time we did this, but there's been an added twist to it, as Cody Rhodes, whatever you want to call him, with Arn Anderson and Brandy Rhodes, faces Lance Archer with Jake Snake Roberts in a tournament final to crown the first ever TNT champion. But the man that will be at ringside to present the TNT championship, the former undisputed heavyweight champion in the world and the baddest man on the planet, Mike fucking Tyson. And I love it. I love that they brought Mike Tyson, and people will say, oh, they're just doing what WWF did. But then again, at that time, Mike Tyson was at the prime of his career. Tyson, sure, he lost to Buster Douglas all those months ago and, kind of fucked up, obviously, having Tyson coming in 10 years earlier, maybe even during the Hulkamania era at that time. But, Tyson was still a beast at that time. Now, he could still go. He could still kill somebody if he wanted to, I think. But I don't know if bringing Mike Tyson in now would be good. I love it, but I don't know if it does the same appeal. Obviously, it's Mike Tyson. People are going to buy it because it's Mike Tyson. They're going to buy pay-per-view just to see Mike Tyson do something. And again, he can still fuck someone up. So it's possible that we could see him take out Lance Archer after the match or during or after. But nonetheless, Tyson will keep Roberts and Arn in check. And when you have someone like Jake Roberts on your side, though, even with Mike Tyson out there or not, I would have to think that you have one of the biggest names as far as mind games are concerned, as far as, as far as just having someone that has the knowledge that he does, that could destroy someone mentally, with or without a snake. Just in general, the guy is a master of mind games for sure. But then again, you have Arn and Brandy in Cody's corner, and Arn, again, one of the better minds of the business as well. But it all comes down to what Tyson does, and I feel like if Cody will never go for the world title again, you need to give him something. And sure that destroys the momentum of Lance Archer, who's been undefeated ever since coming to AEW. And I would not be surprised at all if Archer wins the match and becomes champion. But I feel like, again, there are some matches here that will give people the go-home moment, that'll give them the happy feeling and just send them home happy. Could be, again, one of those matches, and I feel like Cody could win, just based off of that alone. But I would not be surprised at all if Archer's wins, and I actually like Archer winning this, but again, I just don't see it happening, just with this card. And with that, AEW's Double or Nothing is in, literally 2 days. It's going to be a great show. It's something that people have needed for a long time, and I don't know if they're going to have more shows every month or every other month again, with this uncertain time, we don't know what people are going to do. But we'll just see what happens from here. It'll be a great night of wrestling for sure, and it'll be worth every penny.